The Pete and Bobby Challenge is getting America up and moving again. 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups is no joke. And workout warriors from sea to shining sea are competing to see who can finish in under 10 minutes. Health Secretary Bobby Kennedy is making America healthy again, and it's driving the left nuts. The so-called experts are fighting the MAHA revolution tooth and nail. Just yesterday, CDC staffers staged a walkout at their Atlanta headquarters to protest RFK's deputy, who's rumored to become acting director. They say he's damaged the agency, even though he hasn't even touched the place yet. This guy is quitting over it.
I'm seeing CDC being transformed into a weapon where people are not allowed to share scientific data, and that scientific data is potentially going to be contaminated more and more with ideology. I could no longer be party to seeing the transformation of my brilliant scientists into something that could potentially hurt children.
He wants Kennedy to stop asking questions, which of course is the heart of the scientific method. But that's not what the CDC's interested in. Apparently, it's all about love.
The people that they're seeing in those images that you're playing right now are the people who do everything with such enthusiasm and so much love. So as people, try to dehumanize public health workers through mis and disinformation, those images are burned in my mind as something that really reminds me just how much CDC should be and could be about love.
And we all know you can't have a love fest without the trans community, which is what the woke doctor ranted about in his resignation letter.
I find it outrageous that this administration is trying to erase transgender people. I very specifically used the term pregnant people and very specifically added my pronouns at the end of my resignation letter to make the point that I am defying this terrible strategy at trying to erase people and not allowing them to express their identities. So I accept the note from the press secretary and counter that with, I don't care.
So if you start out by denying basic biology, why should anyone trust your science? Less than half of Americans trust federal health agencies, and it's not because of Bobby Kennedy or President Trump. It's because these are the people who supported locking kids out of schools for months, creating a generation plagued by mental health issues. So if these CDC employees want to walk, let them. The medical establishment led this country down a road where we are sicker, fatter, and more depressed than ever before. So something has to change. We need a CDC that works for Americans, and that's what MAHA is all about. Callie Means is a White House senior advisor for MAHA, and he joins me now. It's kind of remarkable, Callie, to watch these people walk out of the CDC in protest, but you can't help but think it's probably all for the better.
There are really high stakes here, Charlie. I mean, my wife is 8 months pregnant. My sister is 7 months pregnant. This is a miraculous process. I mean, watching them grow human life inside their womb, this is a sacred process. This is a process that at the highest level of science we should be celebrating. And there is one type of person who can undergo that process. That is a woman, and that is a mother. And this man who they are celebrating right here, and that is being held up by the media as the paragon of science, does not have the moral or scientific rigor to speak the word mother. Today, President Trump and Secretary Kennedy are the two most popular public officials in America. And I think it's because they put on armor every single day and go to work to fight for science and to fight for kids. Under the CDC, we have had guidelines on COVID for 2 years of school lockdowns. It turned out those guidelines were written by the teachers' unions. We have the CDC website to this day celebrating smaller family size and actually alluding to abortion as one of the great public health advancements in modern history. We have the CDC, it's recently come out, actually hid research on myocarditis risk for the COVID vaccine for young boys. And actually, when you get past the rhetoric and actually look at why these people are resigning, look what they're listing that Bobby Kennedy did, it's that he took the COVID vaccine off the recommended schedule for children. 95% of parents were already rejecting that advice, and actually 85% of healthcare workers were rejecting that advice. So when these people in the media say that they are standing up for science, they're saying they're going against 95% of parents, and they want every single 6-month-old in this country to have a mandated mRNA COVID injection. I want everyone watching to know this. There is a memo going around at the CDC and throughout HHS about how to subvert President Trump and how to subvert Secretary Kennedy. They are saying we're going to outlast them, that the Republicans are going to lose the midterms, that this is going to be a flash in the pan. The American people have a very, very clear choice. Do you accept their argument that the status quo when it comes to healthcare in this country is acceptable, or do you support President Trump and Bobby Kennedy who are fighting for reform?
Calley Means, a great warning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.